Welcome back to Red and Blue. I'm Caitlin Huey-Burns. Changes are coming to Congress. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is expected to become the new House Speaker when Republicans officially take the majority next year. And with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announcing today that she will step down from her position as head of her caucus, House Democrats will have to navigate a Republican-controlled House with new leadership. We have two outgoing Democratic members, Michigan Congressman Andy Levin and Illinois Congresswoman Cheri Bustos, join me now. Hi, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it. So, Congresswoman Bustos, I want to start with you because this is a new era coming to Capitol Hill. I know that you and your colleague next to you are going to be departing the Hill, but what are the challenges now for Democrats being in the minority without Pelosi guiding them through it?
Well, we've been lucky as a Democratic caucus to have someone of the caliber of Nancy Pelosi leading us for so many years. You know, love her or not, she's effective. And by the way, I do love her. I'm not in the or not category, but she's extremely effective. She knows her caucus very well. We had a very fragile majority over the last couple cycles. While we were in the majority, it was a slim majority, and she held us together. And look at the amazing accomplishments that we've been able to take home. We have community project funding where we've brought home tens of millions of dollars on very local projects. We've got the infrastructure package passed. We got the CHIPS Act passed where we are bringing manufacturing jobs home. We made it through this pandemic in a way that jobs are actually growing as we come out of this. So really amazing leadership. The next generation of leader, which she and Steny Hoyer and Jim Clyburn all talked about today, is going to be a dynamic young new groups of leaders that will have the three top positions in the Democratic caucus. On the other hand, you've got kind of the old staid Kevin McCarthy, and the leadership on the other side will not reflect America like we reflect America on the Democratic side. I just think that while we will be in the minority, but just by a few votes, I think you're going to see some amazing leadership on the Democratic side that will follow some amazing leadership that we've had over the last many years.
And Congressman, to you, you've represented the more progressive wing of the party. You also are no stranger to Capitol Hill, given that your father served as well. Are you confident that this new leadership team can kind of bring together the multiple factions of the party, especially progressives who want to have a voice?
I am, Caitlin, I really am. And just take a moment to appreciate Speaker Pelosi's sense of timing. It's hard for us to see her go, but now we're going into the minority, and she says, okay, this is the moment for those of us who've been around for a while to step aside and let this new leadership get its sea legs. We have really experienced, really diverse, really dynamic leaders who are taking up the mantle, and I have really great confidence in them that they reflect the diversity of our caucus, yes, in terms of ideology, but also in every other way. And so I think they're going to do a really terrific job under difficult circumstances, right? It's going to be a crazy show watching presumably Kevin McCarthy try to lead this fractious Republican caucus with the thinnest majority, Cheri, I think maybe ever, or at least in modern times, of either party in the House of Representatives. They may have 219, 220, 221, just a few vote majority, and it's going to be very difficult for them.
Congressman, to that point, you have Republicans already coming out and kind of detailing the investigations that they want to see. You have the new incoming oversight committee chairman saying, here are the things that we want to investigate. Is the Democratic caucus prepared to go toe-to-toe with Democrats, with Republicans on this idea that you're going to have these investigations into the Biden administration?
Absolutely. I mean, you look at our membership and our leadership that we'll have on oversight, they'll be well prepared. But also the Republicans need to be careful. If they want to go and investigate things that aren't substantive, that aren't legitimate, the American people are going to tire of that very quickly, and we will have a big victory in 2024 if they overstep. And it sounds just right on the very first day, it sounds like they're planning to overstep. So that's probably not a good plan on their part.
And Congresswoman Bustos, I know you used to chair the DCCC a couple of cycles ago. Republicans didn't perform as well as they wanted to, but they still will control the House. And that means chairmanships, and that means a power of sorts in the House, especially. What lessons should Democrats take away from these elections? Even if they overperform some expectations, what lessons are to be learned for Democrats?
Well, I come from a district that is Donald Trump won in 2016 and in 2020 as a Democrat. It's very rural, 7,000 square miles, 10,000 family farms. And so I think part of it is as Democrats, as we move forward, we have to make sure that we not only perform well in urban areas, but that we understand how you can pick up votes and not totally bomb in more of the rural areas. You look back at the President Obama model when he first ran in 2008. I actually was working in Iowa at the time, and I was part of I worked in healthcare before I came to Congress, and I was part of a rural healthcare task force when President Obama was first running. What he did is he went to all of those rural areas in the state of Iowa. He didn't ignore rural counties. His philosophy is, well, maybe I'm not going to win these rural counties, but I also want to make sure that I'm not going to get just 10% or 20%. He racked up the score, and in many of those rural counties, he got 40% of the vote. I think we've got to look back to that model. I don't want to ignore any part of a congressional district like mine. We've got a town called Hamlet, Illinois, population 48. And I remember driving through this town, and I said to my district director, I said, I want to stop there and I want to knock on every door and find out what people in Hamlet, Illinois think. I think that's the mentality that we have to take as Democrats, that we're not going to ignore rural America. We're not going to ignore these small towns. In fact, we're going to listen to folks in those towns, and our votes are going to reflect what their needs are. They have the same hopes and dreams as people in urban America, and we have to make sure that we're listening to those.
And certainly a lesson for the party heading into 2024 as well. Congressman, I'm curious because President Biden, is going to have to work with Republicans now that he's facing a divided Congress. But as far as the progressive wing of the party goes, what do they say, is there any concern about compromises that the Biden administration may have to make with Republicans?
Caitlin, I think that we have passed such important legislation in this 117th Congress. Progressives are so proud of what we've done together, the whole caucus, and we are looking to the Biden administration to implement it in the strongest terms. The Inflation Reduction Act, the biggest investment in the history of our country in taking on climate change, hopefully reducing our carbon footprint by 40% in this decade. So we have a lot to do with the Biden administration to implement all the things we've already done together. And then Joe Biden has been a master of working across the aisle. Progressives and moderates, we all want to work with Republicans wherever we can. So if there are areas of compromise, that's great. But the thing that Joe Biden has been great about, and he needs to continue doing, and I wish this was above partisan politics, is focus on putting money in working people's pockets, right? Raise minimum wages, bring manufacturing back to this country, support good union jobs. And I think if we do that, we'll be politically successful. And if the Republicans want to join in doing that, that's fantastic.
All right. Good advice for the next Congress and the administration. Representatives Andy Levin and Cheri Bustos, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.